Hello my dear friends and colleagues, Martin here with my sketchbooks. Some of you asked when they see the short reels where I go very fast through my sketchbooks so that I show it a little bit slower and with some explanations. And this is what you will see, not this sketchbook, this currently one. Yes, and in the end of the video I will do a small drawing here, so 5 minutes at the end of the video. And these are the 3 states. They come in 2 pieces. When they're absolutely fresh, they look like this. Then I draw in them, and in the end, when they are filled up, this is the issue 1, my first one, about half a year. And these are 256, sorry, no, yeah, 200, the double of this, because I only counted the sheets, not the pages, so it's about 250 pages, 260 pages. The paper is 125 gram GSM, and it holds quite good the amount of ink and a little bit of watercolor. It's not a watercolor paper. When I use them, I protect the cover. I removed the original cover and then I protect it here with this black plastic, and so I can use so that they don't look like this. So it's the first time I protected it a little bit so they look a little bit better in the end. So that's what I want to show you. First of all, when I start, maybe that's not the best example. When I start a sketchbook, it should be a sketchbook and not an art book. And this is why I start the first pages something like this. Yeah, very more weird and really messy, so that it's clear it's a sketchbook for experiments and just to draw what comes in my mind without thinking about making art or a fantastic drawing. Okay. Here I started with some line works for my lessons. You can find that at my Patreon or here in the member section on YouTube. Here are some of these typical rural sceneries. My mostly used tools for this are fountain pens. I started with the well-known brands, and then I worked about 2 or 3 years with Pelikan, and then I found this Twispy Eco Clear fountain pens with an extra fine and fine nib, a B nib, so a bolder one, and the same fine, extra fine and fine with the mini version of it, so quite handy. And a pocket brush for these darker, larger black areas. And when I use watercolor, I use this very nice travel brushes. So that's always with me, and 2 pencils, a sharpener and a eraser. So you see nothing special. And in terms of watercolor, honestly, I use all these well-known brands, and maybe one I use more often now these days. This is Roman Smal. It's a Polish manufacturer based in Krakow, Roman Smal, and you can find his watercolor online. And of course, Daniel Smith, Schminke are also very good watercolors. Sorry, it's a little bit windy today. It's very hot in Austria, here in the east of Austria. Unusual, 40 degrees. Today it's 35. And it's a little bit windy, but maybe I can edit it so that you're not bothered with this wind noise. Okay, so here, towers, street lamp. So I want to test if I have this really big street lamp in the foreground, then a middle ground, and then a background. So just composing something here with a little bit of watercolor and pencil, flowers. And it's I don't do it very often, but sometimes there is a page, a sheet I don't like, and then I don't cut it here. I use a ruler and cut it so that I remember that here I did something very wrong. Luckily, I can't remember what I've drawn there, but it is a messy sketchbook, but sometimes there are so bad drawings, believe me. I couldn't stand it that they are here. Some portraits here, and here there's flowers. Also only with fountain pen and a brush pen. Here you see I tried to do this perspective. There's this big flower here in the corner. As well here. The same principle. And you see here that's not that much of impact like this with this angled electric pole. I have to look, yeah, you see everything. And all these drawing style, so with ink and watercolor. Here I did also some studies for these, my teaching lessons about drawing with ink and watercolor at my Patreon, and also in the member section of YouTube. Here with watercolor, and they are not bleeding through, you see? You can't see this here. This is very surprisingly, because it's only these 125 GSM. Yeah. Here with some brownish, it's not an ink, but it's a liquid watercolor. It's something, here I only have, because I want to use them, black and white, but they come in different colors. These are by Renaissance, but I also use them for this other. I think Vincent Newton has some of these liquid watercolors and Thailands. Yeah, and there you see, and that's the nice thing about these sketchbooks. Every sheet costs nearly nothing, and so you can do, and this is about 10 minutes, 20, 30 minutes, and this is wherever I'm sitting or on vacation, on a trip. This is mostly with me. I have also the smaller sketchbooks, really small ones, but I filled up 4 of them. So this is the 4th one, and here are some pages left. But this is the one I love the most. I don't like, I really love this kind of sketchbooks, and I bought, I think, 10 of these are already in my drawing room, waiting to be filled up, because I'm afraid then maybe I can't get them anymore, or they are not on the market anymore. Yeah, this is not sponsored, of course. I even don't know who is the manufacturer of this, because there's nothing inside. I bought them all by myself, and I only want to show you how I use them. That's very nice. Also, you can do it really dark parts, and then these fine lines with fountain pen. Here are some studies, figure studies. Cars. I never draw cars, but here I did it for no reason. I don't know why. People and watercolor, and really very loose, very spontaneously, yeah, with no idea. And sometimes it turns out very, sorry, it's very hot. Sometimes it turns out very well, very good, and then often my family or some friends are asking me, why don't you draw it on a piece of paper to frame it, to hang it on the wall? Yes, I do, with many people, many pictures, but there is something intimidate, or I don't know how to say. It's a good way to look through these drawings, and the time goes by, and then you have it with one, you take it and you have all your drawings in one hand. Here I started in 23. Now we have 26. And I can remember, most of them I can remember where I was sitting, why I did this. Another page, 2 pages I didn't like. Here a nice little hut. Yeah, boats. Some of my bigger drawings are with boats and beaches. Here I mixed everything up. The towers. Here you see typical when you use non-waterproof ink. Then when you go with water over it, then you can use it for shading. And so I often mix waterproof ink and water-soluble ink. Here very colorful. Here I used this colored ink, or was it liquid watercolor? Very intensive. A Pentel original ink. No, this was only the black one. Also some studies here. People in black and white. Some studies, figure studies. And full of color. These are, or all these drawings in these sketchbooks are, I think, except 1 or 2, but all others are out of imagination, so just out of fantasy or remembering. And this is one big point I want to teach the people, the students, that it's just a joy. Don't always look up, look down, look up, look down, and it's a little bit, it's hard, yeah. But when you sit anywhere and then you draw out of your fantasy, you have new combinations of existing things with things out of fantasy. I love this much more than, okay, this was, I think this part was a real scene, then I did these big houses, so there's no proportion between them. But it's a good double page, I think. Yeah, a lot wilder things are also okay. So more often than I thought that I cut off some pages. Studies was with clouds, so how to draw clouds in the evening, in the night. Studies of fences, these signs, and then windows. Composition in perspective. Boats, because there are also drawing boats. There are 2 lessons actually at my Patreon. I think about 50 lessons, all between half an hour and an hour, more on the 1 hour side. So there we walk through the whole process of drawing and painting, so no speed up, so that you can draw along with me. Animals, another chapter I didn't touch, so I have to touch it maybe one time. Yeah. A5, half is A4. Oh, I didn't know why I did this. Okay, and then some perspective sketches. Another rural scene from June. Then I used, I think also from Renaissance, they have this walnut ink, so it's a brownish ink. Tractor and mountains, and then I did a lesson, one of the latest lessons on Patreon and the membership in YouTube are about drawing mountains. Machines, more tractors and machines. Yeah, then these combinations. So here I filled up the page, here I left it blank, paper white. This was from on location, because I have to wait 1 hour, and this was on an event location, and I sit there in the garden, and then I was drawing this part. Studies for the mountains. And another composition studies. Yeah, and this is the 4th issue, the 4th one. So, like I mentioned, like I said before, I will show you how I draw, how this paper reacts when I'm drawing here with black and white black ink. So let's do this. A typical scenery. Let's draw a frame here. And then here I started one, but let's do something like this. So we have a basic ground. Then here maybe in the foreground one of these signs, a little bit in perspective. There's a shadow here underneath. And then we have the pole. Very important, the shadow. And then I can use this thicker nib for this left-handed part of the pole, the shadow, so the light is coming from the right-handed side. And then just a little bit of hatching. And then there is something at this sign. Doesn't matter what it is. Then we have some plants. You see this works quite good with a extra fine nib. And then when there is coming a tree in the background with the leaves and some branches. Here I do the hatching. And you see what's missing, the contrast. I know it's got more windy. That keeps me a little bit cool. So here we do it on the shadow side as well. Here underneath this greenery, something like this, maybe here. And then here behind this sign, into this crown of the tree, some branches. So the very, very loose one drawing. You see, these are just simple uneven circles and lines. And then, yeah, and let's do a little bit of hatching here at the basic ground, in the foreground. And then there is maybe a small hut with a roof. So a little bit in perspective. Okay, this roof is a little bit too much angled, but who cares for this small piece. Here I can use my pocket brush. They are all refilled with the same ink. In this case it's carbon ink by Platinum. Here we are missing some and then the shadows here underneath the roof. And a small little window. And this is such of these nice little sketches. And here, to separate the background from this sign in the foreground, I darken this a little bit more. Not not too much. And then underneath the shadow here, underneath the tree, and as well here underneath the house. And then we have this small little sketch here, 7, 8. This will be then 9, then it's 10. So just to demonstrate a little bit my drawings inside the sketchbooks, and it's about 5 minutes, like I told you. Now you can take some watercolor and so on, but I can do this in some further videos if you want to see it. Okay, now bye for now. Hope to see you next time, next lesson, or on Patreon, or in my membership, where you can of course ask anything, or on Patreon there we have a chat section where you can post your results, and if you want then you get some critique. Okay, bye.